So we learned that Ecuador, it might hit the 900,000 metric tons of exports to China this year. But what will happen in China itself in terms of production, right? Let's try to demystify and open up that black box of Chinese production in the coming session. I just want to understand from the audience what you think will happen in the coming, let's say, 5 years with Chinese production. I wonder, and it's very black and white, but do you think that imports in China will go up or will they go down? Will they be 很多 or 很少 in Chinese? So, can I see hands for the people that think that the imports in China will go up? That's a minority, I think. Yeah. And just the others, so that you can raise your hands. Oh, I think there's quite a group of people that haven't raised their hands. So, 50-50, 40-60. Okay, let's start opening up the black box. And who is better to do that than Dr. Fuji Guo? Please join me on stage. Yes, thank you. So Dr. Guo is currently the Aquaculture Global Category Manager at Royal Agri Firm Group. And you have a background also as a parasitologist. Thank you. And you're developing a lot of solutions for shrimp diseases in different countries, in Asia, and also particularly in China. And because of that, you travel very often to China. And you will shed light, and I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say.
Thank you. I actually need a pointer.
Oh.
Here.
Sorry.
So, good morning, guten Morgen, and sawadee krap, 早上好. So it's a pleasure, and thank you, Lisa, for the introduction. Lisa, you mentioned about black hole.
The black box.
Oh, the black box. So yeah, in our program book, it says black hole, and you say black box. So indeed, China's production is a black box. So I carry like questions. I went to China during the COVID lockdown last year, October and November, and this year again in March and April. And each I spent altogether 5 weeks. So in the middle of March, William contacted me and said, Fusi, I saw some social media posting you're in China. Would you like to give us, share some observation for the coming Global Shrimp Forum? I didn't answer immediately because I was hesitating because, it's a big topic and indeed it's a black box. And how do I know that? I checked with ChatGPT 2 days ago. And see what I found? Said, what is China's marine shrimp production in 2022? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't have access to this information. My data knowledge only goes up until September 2021. So I said, okay, that's a clue. Let's check production for 2021. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have access to the specific data for China's marine shrimp production for 2021. I said, okay, maybe I check 2020 then. Again, this time you don't even say, I'm sorry. I say, get lost. I don't have access. Please check with FAO. Please check with Chinese government publication, whatever. So indeed, it's a black box. It's a black hole. So I'm so honored because I spent 5-6 weeks there, and I have colleagues, and I read Chinese. I'm a native myself, so there are actually a lot of news in WeChat. It's like Facebook, outside. So they share a lot of news. Because of language barrier, you don't get to, understand it. Even while sometimes they do have translation, but you kind of lost in the translation sometimes. So, great honor to have the opportunity to share with you the China's production landscape. Before I go in, William said that I have 1 minute to do advertisements for my company. So I take the opportunity. Yeah? So Lisa introduced, I work for Lawyer Agri Firm. And Agri Firm is an agricultural cooperative with an exclusive Dutch membership base. So it's active worldwide in the production and supply of products and services, or actually I can see from here, for feeding animals and cultivating and protecting crops. So it's a very old company. So the first, anyway, we have 10,000 members, plus or minus. And there are 3,000 employees, and we are in 14 countries active. In China, we have 2 plants. In Brazil, we have 1. And in Europe, we don't know how many. The turnover last year is 2.8 billion euro. And we manufacture feed here in Europe, not in Asia, not shrimp feed, also premixes. We produce 5.7 million tons of feed and premixes. And the profit pay to the Dutch member since 2012 is 194 million. So it's quite a big number. And we were given a title, loyal. I don't know how to pronounce that word, Corneli, 2012. So it's quite an honor. So with our broad knowledge and experience in livestock industry, we get our food wet by going into aquaculture a couple of years ago. And I joined this company 2 years ago. By offering functional feed additives such as that medium chain fatty acid, MCFA, and toxin solutions, with the objective to contributing to a sustainable seafood supply for the future generations. Okay, so finish the advertisement. So that's my talking points here. I will start with the shrimp production system. Yeah. When we talk about, we try to gauge the volume without understanding how they produce the shrimp is nonsense, right? So first, let's understand how they produce shrimp. Second, let's look at the number, how much they produce. Yes, again, it's a black box, but I have some feeling, I have some data, I have some reading from the WeChat. And then, third point, I'm going to talk about, share just 1 or 2 slides, talk about the gap between the domestic production and the domestic consumption. So that immediately leads to, is there still a need for importation? And the question of will the import go up in the next few years? I'll give you the answer by the end of the day. And 1 slide of take-home message. So this is the map of China, very colorful. And it actually looks like a chicken. Yeah? So this is a chicken belly, and that's the chicken legs. Apologize. Yeah, and that's what I grew up in China. I went to kindergarten. The first lesson, they say, oh, look at China, it's a chicken. Yeah? So look at it. And it has a very long coastline, 14.5 thousand kilometers. Vietnam has how much? 3,004. Thailand, 3,002. India, 7,005. So these 3 add together is still less than 14.5 K. So imagine. So it's like China's shrimp production is equal to these 3 countries add together, something like that. Okay. And so the coastline starting from Gulf of Tonkin, near the North Vietnam, all the way up to Bohai Bay, altogether 14,000 kilometers. See, the lowest one is a latitude of 18 degrees, starting from Hainan, from Sanya city, all the way up to 42 degrees. I think there's no country like this have like 24 degrees of latitude difference in growing shrimp. So I highlighted 2 more cities here. 32 degrees, Jiangsu, Rudong is where the greenhouses are in right now. And greenhouses, I'll show you, it take up 30% of the production. 37 degrees is where Shandong Dongying, where CP set up their IAS farm. We call it industrialized indoor farming, or Tongwei set up their plant. So highlighted 2 cities there, and take notes. And so, in terms of weather, because shrimp cannot regulate their body temperature, they rely on temperature of the nature of the wild or the environment. So for summer, every provinces in China has the same temperature, yeah, more or less. June to August, warm and humid. But for winter, those guys, Hainan, Guanxi, Guandong, Fujian, they are, Hainan especially is like tropical. It's like Vietnam, like Thailand. Malaysia. But for Guanxi, Guandong, and Fujian, they are subtropical. So December and February, they are humid and cold, but not freezing. I was born in Fujian, so I never see snow until I went to Canada. Yeah. So Zhejiang and Jiangsu, where are they? So basically, Zhejiang and Jiangsu right around Shanghai. So Jiangsu is north, Zhejiang is down. And they are humid subtropical. Lowest temperature in winter time, about 0 degree. Yeah. But they are not allowed to have heaters at home. So when I was in university, in Ocean University of China, my goodness, I'm so thankful that we have heater because it's above the Yangtze River, right? Or above the Changjiang River. Okay, then these Zhejiang and Jiangsu provinces, the winter could be freezing. Yeah. And then going further north, Shandong, Hebei, and Liaoning, they are temperate. And their low temperature could be minus, and could be minus 20. Because I was in Qingdao for 4 years, it could be extremely cold. But the Qingdao and Dongying is next to each other. Tongwei CP is growing shrimp there all year round, minus 20 outside. So it's amazing. Then marine shrimp farming located in 11 provinces out of the 22 provinces. China has how many provinces? 22. 11 provinces had shrimp farms. These are just talking about coastal area. Inland, where the production figure later I show you, they call it Vandermeer culture in freshwater. They call it freshwater species. So also quite substantial. Okay, so 11 provinces producing shrimp, marine shrimp. Yeah. Okay, now we go to the cultural system. Yeah. And this is I categorize it. There are 4 categories. So start with earthen ponds. It take about 52%. Majority is still earthen pond. Yeah, open weather, no cover. Second is elevated pond. Elevated pond is similar to one in Thailand. Yeah, we'll go detail later on. And then followed by greenhouses. So greenhouse is a big one and small one. Yeah. And finish with the shrimp factory. The literary translation. Yeah. It's actually called industrialized inland farming. Yeah. It's with a roof, with a house. So inland farming is very small. Apologize for the technical difficulties because this was developed in Canada and the Dutch computer just squeezed the font. Yeah, so you don't see. Yeah, suddenly what happened? The font so big. So the shrimp factory actually only composed roughly about 3% of the production. Very small. Okay, move on. Go one by one, but very quickly. Yeah, earthen pond is very similar to Ecuador. They are extensive to semi-intensive, stock intensity 10 to 30. Pond size are 0.5 to 3 hectares. No plastic lining. Yeah, basically they use tidal to get the water, and there's no paddle wheel, no aeration, no heating during the cold month. Yeah, minus 20, no heating, so they cannot grow. Yeah, they can do 1 to 2 crops. The production is 600 to 1,005 jing per mu, meaning converted into hectares per crop, is about 4.5 to 11 tons. Low investment, it's an open system, no biosecurity, and they're prone to weather change, blah, blah, blah. So that is what you see. Yeah? And then next one, the elevated pond, where you have plastic lining. Yeah? Plastic lining, black one, and then you need pump to pump water. Yeah, basically, tidal is not enough, so that's why they call elevated pond. Yeah? And this one, they almost can double the production, 11 to 26 metric tons per crop per hectare. However, the infection pressure are higher investment, and again, these are open system, low biosecurity, and they are prone to water change, typhoon, flood, everything. Move on. The greenhouse. And we have large greenhouse and small greenhouse. So the large greenhouse basically is the earthen pond with a plastic cover. You can imagine 2-hectare pond covered with plastic. Of course, they have a steel frame, and it's quite cheaply made. So when typhoon comes, it's all gone. I can show you some picture. Yeah, typhoon just happened 3 days ago in Fujian. And they call it 100 pond become 1 pond. So it's all flooded. So, and their production, you can see, is quite similar to the previous one, the elevated ponds. The different thing is, because they provide a roof, oh, sorry, I moved too fast. Because they provide a roof, they can somehow control the temperature. So, but minus 20 is still too cold, so they need to heat it up. So how do they heat it? They put steel pipe or plastic pipe, and with this boiler, oh my God, this is like totally not energy efficient. Yeah. and they heat it up, the temperature to 20 degrees. Why do they want to do that? Because they want to catch the Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year is always in the winter. Christmas is always in the winter, right? So, unless it's in Australia, but it's always in the winter. China is in the North Hemisphere. So they need to heat up. And during Chinese New Year, half a kilo of shrimp can cost 300 yuan. My Chinese colleague can testify that, yeah. 300 yuan divided by 7. Divided by 7, yeah. It's like 40 USD. But live one, yeah. Okay, so, okay, I think this one I can move on. What's the timing? Oh my God, I only have 5 minutes left. Small greenhouse, this is the focus. This is right now 30% of the production. And it's a very small size pond, 10 meters times 40 meters. Basically, even smaller than the Olympic swimming pool, 0.04 hectares. And they are producing how much? One crop can produce it up to 30 tons. And it's the place where the Zhejiang in Jiangsu, north of Shanghai, 2-hour drive to Shanghai. Why all these small ponds, they all produce near Shanghai, near big city, that 25 million people? Because they want to supply live shrimp to them. It's 2 hours by car. Live shrimp go there. And look at that. So many. Inside, it typically is a long stretch with a walkway. And you can see some snow even on there. You see, there's snow on the bank, and they are building it. And okay, I have to move fast, otherwise Lisa will kick my ass. Okay, this model started actually a decade ago, or even more. And Chinese are trying all kinds of things. Because it's being small, it's easy to manage. If it fails, they flush it out. Yeah? And they can make changes. So, again, show you where the Zhejiang is. This is Shanghai. This is Nanjing. And this is the north of Shanghai. It's very difficult to control the pointer. And then you zoom in, you can go to Google Maps, you type Zhejiang, if you zoom in, these are all the greenhouses. How many of them? I give you the number. These are the statistics coming from China, not the Chinese government, but the private. At least 100,000 in Zhejiang, just the epicenter. And then this is southern Jiangsu. Northern Jiangsu now expanded, they also have 100,000 units. One unit can produce 750 kilo per cycle. And they can do 3 crops. So you can do the math. Later I have a math here. So altogether, there are 250,000 greenhouses. Each one is 0.04 hectare. So you get 10,000 hectares. 1 hectare can produce about 15 tons. And they can do 3 crops. So each year they produce about 500,000 tons there. That's about one Vietnam production. Basically, contributed by this little greenhouse, small greenhouse. Give you some picture, this will quickly flash. You see the greenhouse covered by the small bridge, and they are harvesting the shrimp. Look at the water, it's like soup. Yeah, look at that. And the shrimp are alive, look at that, it's jumping. This photo was taken during COVID because they wear masks. Disease and typhoon are still the main damaging factor. You can see that shrimp there. Typhoon, rip out the whole roof, yeah? Then snowing, temperature very low, and these are heating, air heating, water heating. Okay, they use a lot of probiotics like Ecuador because the pond is rectangular, there's no toilet, no drainage. I mean, there's drainage, but they don't change water. They don't have their paddle wheel to drive the circle, whatever. So they rely heavily on probiotic for water treatment. And this one, guess what is this on the right-hand side? These are the aeration. It's not air stone anymore. They call it nano aeration tube. It's a black tube, come out with very fine air bubble. So they need to maintain, even the pond bottom, 4 ppm of DO, dissolved oxygen. Otherwise, they want to oxidize everything except the shrimp. But they want to oxidize every pathogen, everything. Okay, move on to the last one. Industrial indoor farm called IIF. So these are concrete ponds, everything concrete. And they can do 3 to 5 crops a year. They can have production up to 10 times. Remember the small greenhouse is already producing 30 tons? So 10 times, 300 tons per unit. And so they have a very high biosecurity. Of course, the challenge is still there. Shrimp feces are smaller than fish, and they're very difficult to filter. And when you have disease, when you have a lot of nutrients, low BVO will boom. Okay, give you some figure here. From 2014 to 2023, the built capacity is 8 million cubic meters. So mainly in Shandong, which is north, Hebei, near Beijing, very north, Tianjin, north, Jiangsu, little bit south, Liaoning, extremely north, next to Korean Peninsula. So, a factory account for almost a quarter of this 8 million, 2 million cubic meters. So they're occupied by CP, by Tongwei, by Haida, by Evergreen. And their production up to now, these are news that last month I gathered from the WeChat, it's about 70K of production. So 70K out of, say, 1.5 million is how much? 2 to 3%. Yeah, that's all. But it's a good story to tell. Look at this. CP appear under current news. They invest 31 million in land-based shrimp farm. Where? You see, can you read the tiny one? Dongying. Dongying. And they're using German technology, RAS. Okay. And then this is even more amazing. Coming to Tongwei. Look at that scale. They're like building a Tesla plant. So they invested 1.2 billion RMB in Dongying. This year, they target to produce 10K. And then in 5 years' time, they want to produce 1 million tons. So Ecuador will suffer. Everybody will suffer, actually. But I don't think they'll reach that amount. But look at that. 10 unit is 0.2 million cubic meters of water. And water exchange is only 8.3%. Compared to the traditional model, is that up to 70% of water exchange. This is really amazing. Look at that. I have a lot of pictures they're taken from Tongwei's videos. Okay, those can read Chinese. So look at that. Oh, sorry. You want to keep my ass on it?
No, not yet. And I promised I would give you 2 more minutes because I think everyone really enjoys the presentation, right?
See,
good.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll do that, but I would want you to go also into the import question.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
Can I have a sip of water? Just 2 seconds.
Of course.
Okay, so these are the water filtration. Look at that. RO, reverse osmosis they're doing. Oh my God. Tongwei, just side story. Tongwei also is the world #1 in solar panel. And they earn a lot of money from there. And they pull that money to put into the shrimp farming right now. I don't think they earn money from here right now. Look at that factory. It's bigger than Tesla factory in Shanghai. Okay, so yeah, this slide very important. Yeah, the production cost comparison, and this my gather is from the past 6 months. So the earthen pond is about $3.4. Talking about production cost, not shrimp price, production cost. Elevated pond or greenhouses about $4. Shrimp factory, the IIF, is about 5.1. Ecuador farm is 2.5. I heard, right? 2.5, yeah. And the average price that come in frozen shrimp, head on, sell on, coming to Shanghai port, is about $5. So you do the math. And Ecuador just signed an agreement, free trade agreement with China in May. So there's no tax. So they put other shrimp producing countries in a very disadvantaged situation. So And early on, we heard that Chinese prefer Ecuadorian shrimp. Yeah, it's just a marketing message, right? Okay, now we come to the real meat. What is the production? So this is the 2014 to 2021 volumes, and these are coming from Chinese Fisheries Statistic Yearbook, quite governmental. You'll see, this orange is the production, so every year growth up to 2021. Total is 1.9 million. Okay, of marine one is 1.27, where the part Vandermeer is 0.7 million production for the marine shrimp grow in fresh water. Okay, then a breakdown into provinces. Guangdong is the biggest province that they produce 747K. Next one is Guanxi, and then followed by Shandong, Fujian, and Jiangsu. Altogether, these are both seawater and freshwater, altogether 1.6 million tons. This is 2021. Yeah? Then, how about 2022, the last year? Again, I got this information. This is a combined, I gather from WeChat media, from Tengshi or Haixian Suichang or Suzhou Suichang. So I put it all together. This is also a breakdown as well for Guangdong, Guanxi, Shandong. So ranking, Guangdong number 1. Shanghai produce shrimp too. Can you imagine that? So this must be IAS, yeah? So this is just the marine shrimp, the seawater. So 500,000 from Guangdong alone. All right? They break down into species. So Vandermeer, 80%, Monodon, about 5%, and Hainanensis, the Chinese one, and Japonica each take about 2%, and they have the others. We don't know. Maybe, Maguensis, whatever. Okay, move on. The gap. Yeah, that's important as well. 1 more minute. Okay, so remember, earthen pond is 50% and then IAS is 3%. So with all that, we are imagining that the production should be zooming very high, right? Should be like 3 million tons next year and 4 million tons the year after. But with the cost of production and with such a cheap price shrimp from Ecuador, why the farmer in China need to farm shrimp? They just buy, right? So the Chinese prefer live shrimp. That's why all the IAS are near the big cities. They like to eat live shrimp. These are unique market. Nowhere else in the world. Yeah. Frozen shrimp is good for pre-cook, and it's become very trendy. Put in the microwave, the youngsters like to eat that, and this is a stable market. Yeah. So, but China will still need to import about 1 million tons of shrimp. As we see it, last year and this year, and now it's already 0.7 million tons to satisfy the growing market. Okay, just to give you some math, per capita consumption, we have 3 million, right? 2 million for local production, 1 million imported. Divided by the population I just downloaded this morning is 1.4 million something. Then it come out to 2.1 kilo per year of consumption. And that's only 6 grams per day. 6 grams, what's the size of shrimp with 6 grams? It's very tiny. So I think the demand is still there. Don't worry. In comparison, US consume 2.1 kilogram of shrimp. Okay, I think last slide already. Yeah, last slide. Take home message, yeah? China is a big country, long coastal line, tropical to temperate, 4 major shrimp farming system, small greenhouse are becoming mainstream. And IIF, the industrialized indoor farm, called Smart Farm, is booming. And with the hot money coming in, I think they'll make something out. They are number 1 shrimp production country, estimated 2 million tons, my estimate, with 1.5 million from seawater, 500,000 from fresh water. But marine species, yeah, it's not for the microvacuum. No, this is white shrimp, but grow in fresh water. They call 1 to 5 ppm as fresh water. It's a different definition. Yeah? There are 1 million tons of import for the next few years because it's only 2.1 kilo per capita consumption. There are room to grow. Okay? Let's
give him a big applause.
Thank you, Fuji, for unraveling the black box, or perhaps some people hope it's a black hole for shrimp, you know, put it there. I was wondering a bit what about the ownership of those, let's say, just focus on the small greenhouses. What's the ownership? Is it small-scale farmers? Is it investors having a lot of these?
Mafia. Oh, no,
Again, always those.
They are, well, it's usually, you know, backyard farming. Like those farmers, they sometimes they rent the land, sometimes they grow vegetable, because it's the same technology as they grow vegetables. So now instead of going on land, they dig a hole and then put water in. So a lot of them are family business, but they do have some guy with deep pockets that they have, they can rent 100 ponds and then they sub-rent it out and people to go in.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
it's really booming. It's amazing when you see it. You can't. Oh my God! And every day they are saying every how many months? Every quarter, 10,000 units are being put on. And even the thing is not just north of China. They are coming to Guanxi, Guandong,